Hello crafty friends, this is the Papered Chef here. In today's Brother Scan and Cut Tips and Tricks video, you are going to learn how to use a feature of your Brother Scan and Cut SDX125. The feature is called Background Scan or Background Scanning. You are going to learn how to create perfect card backgrounds or card matting or layering, if you want to call them, using your Scan and Cut. Best of all, until September 30th, you can get this Pressed Petals Designer Series paper pack for free. I just got it for free. And here is how. I'm just going to show you it while I'm talking because I don't want to waste any time. This paper is double-sided, okay? And the way you can get it for free is right now we're having a Designer Series paper sale. 11 packs of paper are included. This is the one we're using for our tutorial. I'll put that off to the side. Those beautiful music symbols. Okay, so 11 packs of paper are included in the sale. You buy 3 packs of paper and you get 1 free. Even though this came out in the annual catalog in June, I never really saw it in person, so I was like, I never really saw any projects made with it. I wasn't really into it, and I was like, oh, it's a lot of flowers. I'm not a flower person. And then I got it, and I'm like, oh, there's so much you can do with this. Look at all the cool textured backgrounds. Now, it's called Specialty Designer Series paper, which to me usually means that there's some kind of finish on the paper. But in this case, it's not the finish that made it specialty. It's the fact that you get 24 sheets in a pack. It's part of the Pressed Petals suite. And there's really cool things in the suite that I've not tried yet, but you can make flowers out of washi tape. And you know, there's cool things. The only thing I have in this suite are these elements, which are pretty cool. And one of my team members told me about them. And I was like, oh, these are cool. They're little metal elements. But other than that, I didn't get into the suite, but now I'm into it. Now that I got the paper, I'm into it. Okay, so here's the paper. So most of our papers are $11.50, but if you buy the 3 packs of regular $11.50 paper first, then you add this to your cart as number 4 in your shopping cart. I'll have a link to my store. Then this paper will be free. But if you add this first, second, or third, it will not be free. So put the most expensive item in as the 4th item and you'll get it for free. And that's what I did. So now that I have it for free, I'm like, hey, let's see what I can make out of it. And the very first thing I saw when this came out of the pack, in my head I saw a way to just use the background scan feature with the scan and cut to cut these out perfectly. Now you could use a paper trimmer, but my paper trimmer, this is kind of thin paper. It's thinner than, I think it's a little thinner than regular Designer Series paper. And my paper trimmer gets wonky when it comes to really thin papers. So I thought, you know, this is perfect. I can put little shapes over this paper and I can cut these out. Okay, so that's what I came up with. I'm like, okay. So and then not only that, you get 4 of each, even though you get 24 sheets of paper, right? You get 4 of each design. So, right? Follow along, my crafty friends. I'm not even going to show you a second piece of it. I need to clear my table and get this rolling. If you save this in your scan and cut after you're done, like we make a rectangle here and a square here, a rectangle here. If you save that template, you can put this paper in 4 times. You can cut out 4 of those and you'll have lots of card bases. Okay, we're not doing all that. I'm just giving you ideas. We do more things like save and retrieve files in my courses, but this is just so exciting. I got this for free and I said, let me just show you the tips and tricks background scan feature. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to load the mat, and you can use the background scan feature in other models of your scan and cut. So if you're like, I don't have the SDX125, it doesn't matter. The CM350 has it, the CM300. I think all of the scan and cuts have the background scan feature. So you don't need this model I have. However, with our model of machine, this SDX125, we can do something else. We can change our cutting pressure, which you can't do on my other models. So, you know, there's ups and downs. And so this one, I mean, pros and cons of every machine. But I get excited when I get to try new things with my machine. So I want to share that with you. Let's do this. We're going to go to, I've just loaded the mat. Okay, I've put the paper on the mat. And we're going to go, first we're going to just do the whole, not scan. We're just going to say pattern. Okay, we're going to go to pattern. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to make a rectangle that I know just from experimental tries. We're going to start with a square. I know and I'm going to click on this one to make it so it's not proportion, the length and the width. I know that a good height is 5.25. Okay, and a good width is 4. That was just experimentation. But of course, once you get your measurements, you can save this and use your templates again and again. And then I'm going to make it 4. So 4 inches wide. Okay, so let's go ahead and just for good measure, I'm going to add 2 of these. So I'm going to put 2 of these on the mat. Now, I could also add squares and do all the rest, but just in the interest of saving time, we're going to cut out 2 card bases. So where do we put these? That's the question. We have these really cool rectangles that'll fit over our paper, our designer series paper, but where do they fit? How do I know where to put those? Well, the way you know where to put them is by using background scan. So here's the background scan. You click on that and you're going to hit start, and it's going to scan in this pattern, this paper, which when I first got this out of the box or out of the bag, I was like, whoa, this paper is so busy. What am I going to do with this? And then I thought right away, oh, these are great backgrounds for cards. And so I don't like to use my trimmer a lot. I like to use my ScanNCut. Okay, so now I hope your wheels are spinning with ideas of what you could do with this. So you could put these over different parts of your mat. But however, it's kind of dark, right? This background's dark. So what you do is you lighten the background so that you can easily place these 2 rectangles. What happened to my other rectangle? We'll add it. I think it's already gone, but we'll see. We're going to see. So I'm going to lighten up the background. Click here to the settings. They go to the settings, the little wrench, and you're going to lighten the background. So you have 3 choices. You either have no background, dark background, or light background. So we're going to say light background. Oh, there's my other rectangle. See, I told you I lost it in the sea of darkness, but now that we have the light, I can see it. Okay, so there we go. I'm moving this. I'm going to show you how to zoom in too, but I'm moving that rectangle over the top of that background, and I'm moving this rectangle over the top of that background. But I'm going to show you how to zoom in and make it even more accurate than that. So let's just say okay. Or no, we don't say okay. Let's go edit. Let's say edit, because I told you we'd zoom in. That's where you zoom in, is in the edit. We're going to click the little zoom, the little magnifying glass. Now look, see, I thought I was putting in the right spot, but maybe if I just use these little nudges these little arrows mean that I can move it like a pixel at a time. See, so I like this better. So I like to zoom in, because if I didn't zoom in, I would have been over the top of this one. I would have been into this wood on the right side. And you don't want to be into this other shape, because you need that other shape for a different card. Okay, I'll show you all my shapes I cut out. Okay, let's see. Let's go down here and see how the wreath looks. Okay, this is... I think I did pretty good on that one. Let's just see how the bottom looks. Nope, the bottom was sort of cut off a little, but there's a little area that doesn't cut down the bottom of your mat. That's the white area. So you can't really use that. So don't make your rectangles go into that area that's not cuttable, because if you do, it's going to give you an error that says you're trying to cut outside the cutting area, and you'll get an error. Okay, I'm going up. I think I'm good. Okay, so you use the background scan to get the background of your paper. Then I zoomed in and say okay. I was in the object edit. I was in the edit mode. That's where I zoomed in. Okay, the big picture is, if you want to add more shapes right now, you can add, this one is a square, this one is a rectangle, this is a square, and then this one doesn't work unless you move the paper over, but this one is the same size as this one. Okay, so this rectangle is the same size as that rectangle. I'll put the shapes in the description for you, the dimensions. So now we're going to say okay, and we're going to say cut, but we need to change, just say cut, but we need to change the cutting pressure, because remember I told you my paper trimmer gets things to be a little wonky. Well, so does my ScanNCut if you have too much pressure. So I'm going to go into the settings here, right before I hit the cut button or the start button. You go into your settings and you say pressure. This one. See, it says auto. This is a default setting because it's in with the black square around it. I want it to be -1. You can even go lower pressure, but that's one thing you can't do with your CM350. So if you have a CM350, you're going to use a blade depth of probably just 2 for this paper, but you don't have a pressure setting. But this is the auto blade. So I like to tell you what to do with the other machines, because I can't, if you knew how long tutorials take, you would understand I can't do tutorials on every machine every time. So therefore I have to just I'm just mentioning the differences of the machine. But if you check on my channel, there's probably over 100. That's just the lever. See, I told you the paper's getting a little wonky. The one, it was already lifting up a bit, the top mat. But that's just because my mat's not sticky. So use a sticky mat when you do this. It was telling me to lift the lever as if I had thick paper, but I don't have thick paper. I have very thin paper. Okay, so let's see. See what it was doing? It was just lifting that paper up. Okay, so let's unload the mat. The show must go on. You know, sometimes if your mat's not very sticky, you're gonna have issues. Okay, so that one is a little bit stuck, but that's okay. So that is still a perfect card base. Look, I just take that. Let me make some room here. Usually I show you how to peel these off the mat, but see, this mat's not sticky at all, so it comes right off the mat. Now I want to show you a couple things. We're going to fix that. And I'm going to show you what I've created with this paper. Because again, I mean, I keep it real with my viewers. Sometimes you get things and you're like, oh, okay, like what do I do with this? And that was my feeling when I got this paper. But I have friends that are gardening people. They have green thumbs, they're gardeners. And so I have a lot of friends that I can give, you know, and that like floral things, and I can give a lot of different cards to them. So, and I also know that this is popular paper. All right, so there's our card bases. So just, I hope your wheels are spinning. You could change the paper out. You could save this template and reuse it, or you could change the paper out and just cut again and again. You could cut it 4 times, cut your whole pack up, and you'd have all kinds of instant card bases. So let's show you what I mean. And I'll tell you which ones I did with the ScanNCut. Okay, now this one I didn't do with the ScanNCut. It was too close to the top. I'm probably gonna use this little daisy for a belly band. Okay, like a belly band around a card. That's what I'm gonna do with that one. These 3x3 squares cut out with the ScanNCut. Another 3x3. I have to write down the measurements of that one, I forget. But these were the 4x 5.25. Okay, and now here's what you could do. You can make a card base instantly. Now, then you look at the coordinating colors in the suite, and you say, well, oh, I can add things to my card, like embellishment. So now I'm going to show you my project I created. Okay, and I'll show you the materials I used. So I created a card base. I started out with just Whisper White cardstock. I have loads of Whisper White card bases from the Memories and More card packs that we sell at Stampin' Up. I just trimmed it down a little bit, made it a 1/4 inch wider than the actual mat was. Okay, and this is my card I just came up with. And instantly, a 5-minute card. I took a piece of very vanilla scalloped lace trim that we sell, and I colored it with Rococo Rose. Rococo Rose is one of our 5 in colors. In colors mean that for 2 years we come up with new colors, and the 2019 colors, you know, that we came up with this year, these are the 5 in colors. And one of these in colors was featured. These are samples I sent to my team. Okay, one of these colors was featured here, like in this paper, Rococo Rose. And so what I did is I used that to ink up the very vanilla trim. Then I was like, okay, well, what can I do with the Rococo Rose? And I thought I'll put Smile. I'll stamp Smile on with Rococo Rose. And I used this stamp set. And I used the Smile from the stamp set. It's called Daisy Lane. And then I thought, oh, I could put like some 3D on this card. So then in a minute, I just cut out, I stamped in crumb cake, the little daisies in crumb cake just to give them some texture. Punched them out in a minute, very vanilla, with my little Daisy Lane punch that you get. You save 10% when you buy bundles together. Like this is a bundle, okay, this year. Then I put some little then I colored it with So Saffron. I always have my materials here to show you. Let me grab things here. Colored it with So Saffron in the middle. I like to tell you everything I used because So Saffron was a coordinating color. Okay, there's So Saffron. Then finally put some Wink of Stella on it. And I mean, I'm saying it's slow, hopefully slow enough to understand, but really it took me 5 minutes to make this card. I'm not kidding you. I used the Timeless Label Punch to punch out the sentiment. I have lots of things to use, of course, materials. And then finally I added some bling. These are our in color 2019 to 2021 in color faceted dots. So I added some little bling to it, and I already know which friend I'm sending this. I'm sending this card to my friend Jenny because she is like the gardener extraordinaire. Okay, so that's who I'm sending it to. Now, if you're into this paper, it doesn't matter if you're into this paper or not into this paper. If you are into 3D items, just stay tuned for my channel because I don't just do scan and cut tutorials. I do a lot of other kinds of tutorials. But YouTube, unless you click the little bell to get notified, they will not tell you about my other tutorials. So I'm telling you right here that this is one of my tutorials coming up. It is so easy to make, and I'm using a punch. I'm using the daisy punch. You can use your scan and cut or circle punches, and I'm using a little punch that's in our holiday catalog. I'm going to hopefully try to reach it right now to make this box. I got to reach it. Sorry, I don't have a very big table. This little punch, coming up, I will show you how to use this little punch to make these little boxes. So super simple. You don't need a machine at all. No scan and cut. And I don't even know the name of this box yet. I think it's Cracker Box, or I don't know, Treat Box. I'll have to find the name of the box before I even name my tutorial. But stay tuned for it because I'm going to use the Pressed Petals Designer Series paper and show you how to make these cute little boxes which hold some chocolates. So thank you for watching. This is The Papered Chef.